What if the end of the world doesn't come with explosions, but with silence? No sirens, no fire, no gods in the sky, just billions of souls forgetting who they are, why they're alive, and what it means to be human. Carl Jung didn't fear bombs. He feared something far worse: the slow, silent decay of the human spirit. He warned that the spiritual decline of the earth is so far advanced that people are in danger of losing their last spiritual strength. The strength not to fight, but to even notice the collapse. And that's the horror. Not that everything is falling apart, but that no one is conscious enough to see it. Jung saw modern man sleepwalking through a crumbling world. He saw Western civilization not as evolving, but as disintegrating, from within. Not through invasion or violence, but through spiritual amnesia. We forgot the stories that gave life meaning. We forgot the myths that shaped our souls. We forgot how to imagine. Technology advanced, but meaning vanished. The gods of science gave us miracles and nightmares. We split the atom, but couldn't hold a conversation with our own shadow. We decoded the universe, but denied our own unconscious. Jung feared this more than any war, because while war destroys cities, spiritual decay dissolves the will to rebuild them. A civilization can survive bombs, but can it survive the death of imagination, of soul, of story? We chase knowledge but forget wisdom. We seek pleasure but forget joy. We connect online but can't sit alone with our thoughts. This is how the end comes. Not with a scream, but with a shrug. Jung's vision wasn't just of war or apocalypse. It was of a world still standing, but completely empty on the inside. Jung didn't come to his warnings through fantasy. He came through observation. Through decades of clinical work, he studied the soul of modern man up close, and what he found disturbed him. Most people, he said, are psychologically sick, and many are flirting with madness. Not the madness you see on a street corner, but the kind that wears a suit, smiles at parties, pays taxes, and quietly rots from the inside out. He called it loss of soul, not as poetry, but as a clinical diagnosis. People no longer know what they're doing, why they're doing it, or who they are becoming. And in a world armed with nuclear weapons, Jung saw this not as a personal crisis, but as a collective death wish. It is as if a 6-year-old boy, Jung wrote, were given a bag of dynamite for his birthday. Humanity had unlocked cosmic power, but remained infantile in consciousness. We mastered external energy, but left the inner world untouched, chaotic, and dangerously immature. Science made us gods, but forgot to make us whole. Jung didn't just fear destruction. He feared that those holding the power were the least prepared to use it. He watched politicians, military leaders, and cultural icons operate with profound unconsciousness, driven by shadow, ego, and unresolved trauma. They spoke of peace while projecting their rage. They claimed progress while suppressing soul. He knew exactly what happens when unconscious people hold conscious power. The outside world burns as a reflection of the fire inside. And worse, the average person sees the flames and calls them normal. Jung's question was brutal but honest. Is the human mind still fit to survive its own inventions? In the age of poison gas, propaganda, and nuclear war, his answer was simple: not yet. Jung wasn't just a psychologist. He was in many ways a reluctant prophet. His mind didn't just analyze symptoms. It saw patterns beneath history and felt tremors before the quake. In 1913, just months before the outbreak of World War I, he had a terrifying vision. A monstrous flood engulfing Europe, drowning thousands, sweeping away everything familiar. 2 weeks later, the vision came again. This time, blood-red waves, dead bodies floating like leaves, civilization shattered into debris. An inner voice told him, "Look at it well, it is wholly real, and it will be so." He was not wrong. Nearly 50 years later, on his deathbed, Jung had another vision, one his family could not understand. So he asked for one of his closest students, but they refused. Only one daughter took notes. In those final words, he sketched a line, rising and falling like a heartbeat, with a message scrawled beneath: the last 50 years of humanity. A final collapse lies ahead. His student, Marie-Louise von Franz, held those notes in silence for decades. When asked, she whispered, "One's whole feeling revolts against this idea, but I do not allow myself to be too optimistic." Jung saw something few dared to admit. Civilizations do not always fall with explosions. Sometimes they decay in silence. Not with fire, but with forgetting. Not with war, but with meaninglessness. We don't need to be destroyed by bombs when we're already empty inside. The shell of modern life remains, but the soul, gone. We smile, we scroll, we perform happiness, and deep down, we are terrified. This is the apocalypse Jung feared most. Not the end of life, but the end of being human. Jung did not design his psychology as a tool for comfort. He designed it for collapse, for the end. In his final years, he wrote, "Psychology like mine prepares for an end, or even for the end." He wasn't exaggerating. He saw the sickness in society, and he knew we were too arrogant, too distracted to see it ourselves. And so he offered something radical. If the outer world is dying, go inward. If civilization is falling, save the soul. He knew that when systems collapse, the myths that once gave us meaning rot into noise. People turn to conformity, to empty distractions, and finally to madness. So what remains? You, your inner world, your shadow, your capacity to face what no one else dares to look at. Jung's psychology isn't about being happier, it's about being whole, in a time when everything around you is breaking apart. And here lies the final paradox. We have the power to destroy everything, and yet we are more lost than ever. Nuclear weapons, mass surveillance, AI systems that manipulate without conscience, and a population too numb to notice. Is it too late? Some days it feels like it, but maybe, just maybe, the end is not meant to be avoided. It's meant to be understood. Endings are not punishments, they are mirrors, and if you dare to look, you might realize this. The world isn't ending, the illusion is. So now I ask you, is your soul prepared? If everything around you collapses, what do you still have inside? Are you trying to save the world, or trying to escape your own reflection? Maybe it's time to stop pretending we're fine, and start building something real, within.